Okay, today I am in Hebrews chapter 11. Welcome, Pastor Patrick Walker here. Hebrews chapter 11, starting in verse 13. Now, the context, this is the famous chapter on faith, and in particular, a couple verses about Abraham really struck me this morning, and that's what I want to read for you. So this is Hebrews chapter 11, verse 13. It says, "All these people were still living by faith when they died. They did not receive the things promised. They only saw them and welcomed them from a distance. And they admitted that they were aliens and strangers on the earth. People who say such things show that they are looking for a country of their own. If they had been thinking of the country they had left, they would have had the opportunity to return. Instead, they were longing for a better country, a heavenly one. Therefore, God is not ashamed to be called their God, for he has prepared a city for them." All right, a couple of things that stand out. Even going back to verse 10, it says, Abraham was looking forward to a city with foundations whose architect and builder is God. So the first thing is we see that Abraham and other patriarchs did not receive the things that God promised. So the question is God faithful? I mean, can God lie? In this particular case, how will God fulfill his promises? Not in this life, but in the life to come. And in a greater and more permanent sense. Now, Abraham considered himself to be an alien and a stranger on earth. Now, I suspect, like, if you're like me, you've lived in a number of places throughout your life. It's kind of like I'm looking outside right now. I'm just thinking and reflecting upon all the different homes I've lived in, all the different places, I've dwelled. And it's like, where is my permanent home? Do you remember how Abraham lived in a tent? He traveled from this place to this place to this place. He had a promise from God, and yet there was no sense of a permanent place of residence, a permanent home. And I don't quite know how he saw what God promised from afar, but verse 13 says he saw, either he had a vision, or perhaps he had a dream, or perhaps the angel of the Lord, who I believe was a pre-incarnate form of Jesus Christ, who appeared to Abraham, discussed with him what life would be like in the next realm. However this was, he was given a picture of what was to come. This is verse 13. And he realized that this life, even though he lived to be 180, he realized that this life was just a temporary assignment. He was a stranger on the earth. And the scriptures specifically say earth. He is an alien and a stranger on earth. So we know that what was to come is not earthly. It's heavenly. And we see that in verse 16. It says he was longing for a country that was better than the one that the Lord had given him here in this life. And he was longing, he had seen a vision. The word city comes up twice, verse 10 and verse 16. It says that God had prepared a city for them. And that Abraham, verse 10, was looking forward to a city. So two things. He had a vision of what was to come. He had a picture of what was to come. He was longing for that. He recognized that the dwelling place here on earth, even though he lived to be 180, was just a temporary assignment. And his focus, his faith was on the trustworthiness of God's promises to be fulfilled in the next life. And in two specific ways. One, with a country that was better than, longing for a better country, this is verse 16, a heavenly one, a heavenly country, an improved country, and a city. Now, the city that's being mentioned, this is not the only time city is mentioned here in Hebrews, but maybe the closest reference is in the next chapter, Hebrews chapter 12, which says, "You have come to Mount Zion, to the heavenly Jerusalem, the city of the living God." So the city that I believe is being mentioned here is the New Jerusalem. It's a city that's like 1,600 miles by 1,600 miles by 1,600 miles, a huge cube, almost the size, 3/4 of the size of the United States. It's massive. That is the heavenly Jerusalem. That is the mountain of God. That's Zion and Mount Zion, and that will come down to earth and be the capital city of a renewed, resurrected, revived earth, restored earth during the 1,000-year reign of Christ and beyond. So I believe that Abraham received a vision, received a dream, and he dwelt upon this frequently. As beautiful as the sky is, the blue sky and the outdoors, he said, there's a better country than this. There's an improvement that's coming. And though he was a nomad, he said, God has prepared a city. He's the architect. He's the builder. This is verse 10. He has prepared a city for them, verse 16. And Abraham was kind of longing for the stability. I believe that every single Christian who enters into the 1,000-year reign of Christ and lives forever has a dwelling place in the capital city of the new world to come. Now, you can travel about the country. You can explore, I believe, the universe, but you have a residency in the capital city that you could always come back to. So I believe we see the same thing here. He's excited for a better country, but he's also excited for receiving his portion of his inheritance as part of the heavenly city as well. So this is something to think of. If Abraham, who lived 180 years, considered himself to be a stranger on the earth, just passing through, just a temporary assignment, how much more of us? And if Abraham did not receive that which was promised in this life, but he was looking forward to the promises of God to be fulfilled in the next, again, great pattern for us. Does your heart long for something more? Does your heart, the beauty of this world, it's like I don't fit here. Something's missing. I'm longing for something more. I'm longing to return home. And as an ambassador, when are we going to be recalled back to our home country, our heavenly country, so that we can enjoy Jesus, God in human flesh, dwelling on the earth with man from the New Jerusalem, Mount Zion, the heavenly city, forever and ever, in the presence of our God, renewed creation, perfect body, and all the promises of God fulfilled. It's a wonderful picture to meditate on, and I'd encourage you to do that as you reconsider Hebrews chapter 11, verse 10 through 16 once again. All right, until next time, God bless.